Hi all. So today we are going to discuss about strings in Python. So what is a string? A string is a sequence of characters usually represented within single or double quotes. It's a sequence of alphabetic characters enclosed in single or double or even triple quotes in Python. So they are used to represent text-based information. The way they differ from other data sequences is that it's again immutable, just like tuples. So once created, they can't be changed, or their values can't be changed. They are just ordered sequences like lists. That is, every character in a string has an index. Now again, it's immutable and it's versatile. The characters inside these codes could be either alphabets, numbers, symbols, or even spaces. So, how do we initialize a string in Python? For example, s equal to hello world and s. It just gets printed. We can also use single quotes. The compiler treats it like a string. In Python, multi-line scripts could be represented using triple quotes. It may be either triple double quotes or triple single quotes. Both represent a string. Okay, so this is how strings are represented in Python. Now again, it could be accessed using indices. Every character in a string has an index. Python supports both forward as well as backward indexing. So the forward index starts from 0 and ranges till length of the string -1, whereas the backward index starts from -1 and has index till minus of length of string. Now slicing, again, this is applicable also for list, where to obtain a subsequence of the original string, we could use slicing. Now, for example, if we have a string, hello world. So, what if we want to access the first five characters? So, we will give first column in and the number of characters or the index up to which we need the characters. So since we need the first five characters, that means ranging from starting from the index 0, we need till index 4. So we basically give 5. So the syntax is start, stop, and step. So by default, it starts from 0 and the end point or the end index is exclusive. So the Python compiler, when it runs this program, it extracts indices 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It won't obtain the character at position 5. So we obtain hello. Now, if we give is to 2, a step value as 2, it basically means starting from 0 with a gap of 2, access the characters with a gap of 2. So first, at the element at the index 0 gets printed, then 2, then again increment it by 2, the element at the fourth index gets printed. So basically H, L and O gets printed. Hello, HLO. So this is how we do slicing of strings. And how to reverse a string using slicing. You won't give the start and end value, just give the step value as -1. So by default, it will just reverse the string. So if we have two strings, maybe is equal to hello, is equal to world. We can concatenate the strings just like how addition works in numeric algebra. Here, concatenation is happening when we add a plus operator between two strings. So it basically adds both the strings and we get a hello world without a space. And repetition. What if we want to print the word hello 3 times? So instead of giving the command again and again and again, you can just give print s into 3. So hello gets printed 3 times. Now membership operator. So to check whether a subsequence is present in a string, we could use in. That is basically the membership operator. So if h h h in s print present else print absent. So here you can see if the character h is present in s, we are going to print present, or else we are going to print absent. So obviously we could see here x is already present in the string, so it should print present. Now what if I give w? Since it's not present, it will definitely print absent. So in operator is just used to check whether a subsequence is present in the string. Now we have some transformation methods. That is, you could convert the string into your required way. So what if you want to convert the whole string such that every character is an uppercase? So this is how we convert. We give the command s dot upper, so it returns a string. So either you could directly give it inside a print statement, or you could temporarily store it inside a variable and then print the whole thing. Both will yield the same output. So this is what upper will do. Now we have another function called lower, which just converts every alphabet in the character or every character in the string to lowercase. So it's just hello. Now other things are strip. Strip, what basically what it does is that it removes the spaces, empty spaces in the string. So if we give strip, this is what we get. The leading and trailing spaces are removed, and then you get the just the string as such. Now strip is used to remove the left hand side space, and strip is used to remove the right hand side space, whereas you can see the left hand space remains the same. So that's the use of strip function in Python. Now title and capitalize. So if we give title, the first letter gets capitalized. Hello. Now it just converts it into title case. Now when we give again, the first letter gets capitalized. Now what if we give swap case? Now, this example, this case could be illustrated with the help of this example. So here my one of the H and L in this string is an uppercase, the rest are lowercase. So if we give the swap case command to the string, basically H and L will convert to lowercase. The rest of the alphabets which are currently in lowercase will be converted to uppercase. Now searching and replacing. So how do we find certain substrings present in a string? So first function that we have is find. So this is the syntax. If the given subsequence is present in the string, find will return the first appearance, the first index of its first appearance. So basically if we have to hello hello and I am going to give this dot find h, it will return 0 because currently the first h that we could encounter in the string is at index 0. So that's what gets printed. That's what find will return. If, for example, if I give s dot find w, which is not even present in the string, it will return -1. So that's the use of find. Now count. So count basically returns the number of occurrences of a given substring. So if I give s dot count of w, it will return 0. If I give s dot count of h, it will give 2. If I give s dot count of small h, it will give 0. So yeah, that's the use of count. Now, what's the use of replace? What if you want to replace a character currently in the string with another character? So suppose I want to replace the character L with W. Now we could see L getting replaced with W. So we'll note here the L present at the second index is capital L. So it won't get replaced. Only the small letter L's get replaced by W's. So you obtain this output. Here we are going to see about split, join and partition. So split function is used to split the string using the separator. So it will split the string wherever it encounters the separator that we have given. So if we have given commas, wherever the compiler encounters a comma, it will split the string at those points. And then the individual characters are grouped together and they are formed as a list. So for example, s equal to, I have 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5. Okay, and then I have n equal to s dot split by I'm giving split it using the comma. Now if I print a list, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The strings 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Basically the compiler splits the whole string based on this separator that we have given. Now and it returns a list. So this is what we have used while receiving input in the form of list. Hope you remember where the command was map of int comma input dot split. Usually input receives any user input as a string. So this is then split using spaces. If we give this, if we call the split function without an argument, by default it splits using spaces. So here we could say one space if I am giving like this. This is how we usually see input in most of the CP questions. So if we just split it, we see if you are not giving a parameter here, it just splits using the white spaces. So here we get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's the use of split. Now we are going to see the use of join function in Python. So basically we could give an empty string dot join of list so that it will just maybe an empty string or a string, and what happens is every character of the list is separated by what we give just before the join method. So here if you could see we have given a hyphen. So then A hyphen B will be the output. So here I have just given empty spaces. Then what happens is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets printed. Yeah. So if I'm giving a space as a separator, so between every character in the list, um, a space will be appended. So you could say 1, 2, 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5. So that's the use of join function. And please note that the list should contain only string objects. Then only this function will work, or else it will throw an error. Now the use of partition is like converts, it splits the string by the first occurrence of the substring that you give and then converts it into a three tuple. So it's basically the separator, string before the separator and string after the separator will be returned in the form of a tuple. So that's the use of partition. For example, here s equal to 2 comma between hyphen 2 hyphen 4 hyphen 5 hyphen 6, and I'm giving s is equal to s1 partition. So as you could see here, the first occurrence of hyphen is after 2. So just before the hyphen we only have 2. So that's the first element, then the hyphen, then the substring after that is from 3 to 6. So the whole element gets appended to the tuple. Now, before we end the session, we will just look at one of the problems that involve strings. Now, we are given a string S consisting of uppercase English letters. Find the length of the longest ACGT string that is a substring of S. Here, a ACGT string is a string that contains no characters other than A, C, G, and T. So, a substring is a continuous form or continuous characters present inside the string. So, it is either obtained by removing zero or more characters from the beginning and the end of the tree. So basically it should be continuous. Uh, and then as an example, here the longest substring is ATC that involves either A or T or G or C. That's the longest substring and the length is 3. So just think for a moment. So now as you could see here, we need a substring that contains only A, T, G and C. So every time we encounter a character other than these, we should stop the substring there and then we should again start a new substring. So that's the whole logic. Now first we receive the input string and then a list is initialized where we basically hold the length of substrings that is an ACGT string. That's basically either a combination of A, C, G or T. Now, as we iterate through the string for I in S, if that character is either A or T or G or C, then it will definitely uh, be true. The statement will be true. This membership statement will be true. And hence, we increase the current length of the substring by 1. So current length of the substring is 0 before we even iterate through the string. Now, when we encounter a substring that has either A, T or G or C in it, we just increase the length of the substring. Now, if the substring doesn't have A, T, G or C, that means the substring should end there. And then the current length is appended to the list that holds the values, that holds the length of these substrings, and then again the length is reinitialized to 0. Now again we just search for substrings inside the string, and then please make sure to append it after the iteration, and if not L, that means not L basically denotes whether this list is empty or it is not. So if it is empty, not L will be true. And then if this list is empty means there is no such substring, so then we should print 0. Otherwise, we should print the maximum length, that is maximum length of the substring, that is basically the length, maximum length that is stored in the list. We will try a demo example. uh, where we will go at border. So basically the greatest ATGC string is ATC, which has the length 3. So yeah, 3 gets printed. Now just to understand how this works, I will give RATC. So basically when we iterate through this string, R is definitely not there in ATGC. So it will just append 0 to the list. Now then again the substring length is reinitialized to 0. Now again, in case of A, it is there in the string, so length gets increased. T is there in the string, the length gets increased. C is there in the string, so the length gets increased. But if we don't give the statement outside the for loop, this length is never getting appended to the original list, and hence we are not finding, we won't get the uh, required output. So that's why we just append the substring that is present at the end as well, length of the substring that is present at the end as well. So we get 3, the required output 3. So this is all about strings in Python.